YouTube, what's going on? Exhibit here, bringing you a brand new video. In today's video, we got the FAR Detroit, the Frontline Amateur Racing Detroit Supercross. This is round 7, I believe it was. We did pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, we did pretty good. I'm gonna throw up a photo of the qualifying times. I believe we were 4th fastest with the 49.8. So that put us in heat 2. I'm happy with the 49.8. I got a 48 just testing. So I was hoping to get one of those, but it just didn't work out for that. But we were able to drop a 49. And I was happy about that. It was pretty quick for everybody that's racing, so I was happy. And then in the heat race, heat 2, we pulled hole shot. I'll try to get a clip of that and throw it up as well. We pulled hole shot. At least top 3 in the start, so that was awesome. And then we were able to just ride our race. We finished 2nd behind Colton, and we just made it into the main event, so I was excited for that. And then if we jump over to the main event, all right, so we jump over to the main event and we got our gate pick. We were able to select it. It was top, I think it was 4th, so I picked the 4th gate from the left side, which was, I think, very smart. You could have gone outside and probably sweep underneath, but I decided to go inside, and I'm glad I did. I got a great jump off the rip that put us right behind Europe off the start. So shout out to Europe for pulling a hole shot. He just snuck right into me, or right underneath, right off the start right here to pull a hole shot, which he had a little bit better gate. He had that far inside. I should have gone with that one. So shout out to him for that. Kind of make a mistake right here, but we survived it. Nothing, no pile up or anything like that, like we saw in aerial. So I was ecstatic for this. And we kind of got away pretty clean. Mr. Clean, no pun intended, was right in front of us. We followed him. We were able to hit this rhythm section. We had a problem with that rhythm section all night. I'm not gonna lie, it was a problem. And you can see that inside line. I feel like every time I try to do that inside line, I would get sideways off the start, which I prefer the outside line on this track. And I think it's just a little bit easier to ride per se. But then we were able not to do this. I should have just gone for that triple right there. I should have just done it per se. But that rhythm section, it wasn't that bad all night. We were able to do it most of the night, so I was excited for that. And right in the beginning of the race, we're just making too many stupid mistakes that we shouldn't. Like, that shouldn't be a mistake. We got to clean these up. We definitely got to clean this up and try to get better for, I think it's Indianapolis next week. But we just got to clean those mistakes up. And we can be out front. We can ride with Europe out front, and we can ride with Mr. Clean as well. He rode phenomenal. And you can see another mistake in the rhythm section. This rhythm section ate me up during the second half of the race. I messed up so many times in the second half of the race. So that, I'm glad that rhythm section's over with. Also, what do you guys think about the ruts and the whoops? You guys like them? Like, what do you guys think about them? I don't. What do you think about the track in general? Like, this track was kind of weird how it played out because there was lines everywhere, right? There was just lines everywhere, and it was hard to decide which line you wanted to go for. But we were able to like maneuver around them pretty well. And I had to do that a lot in the heat race because I didn't want to go over the bars. I just rolled it, and I didn't want to go over the bars because that dragon back was scary, and that plays in a line with the lines, so like the ruts. When I say lines, I mean ruts, because those ruts were tricky, very, very tricky. And if you didn't hit them correctly, you were getting swapped left or right. But we barely made it out. We barely made it out of everybody. We survived. We got to 2nd place. I believe we're in 2nd place, right behind Mr. Clean, which I think Mr. Clean went down with lappers, and I was able to get by him. But you can see we were able to get that inside, and we were able to triple that. Because that was key. If you didn't do that rhythm section right there, you lost so much time, especially with the next rhythm, and especially with this one too. If you didn't jump over this, I feel like you were going so much slower. You could have gone the outside, and you could have like actually hit it as dragon back, but it was just my line. I never actually took the outside besides that first lap, and I didn't really like it as much. I thought it would have been faster. I was testing it in practice. But I always thought the inside was a little bit not smoother, because it was definitely more difficult, but a lot more quicker than going outside and dragging back and then doubling. But what did you guys think? What did you guys think of, like, which section was the hardest? I think the whoops weren't as hard as everybody probably thought. I thought the right side of the whoops was the preferred side for me. I try to go there every time. And I did that because it led you to the corner after the whoops just a little bit better than say that inside line. My homie Max, he took the inside line. I think Zug also took the inside line, and it just, you had to like cut down the corner and it just didn't flow, I think. So that's why I always try to stay to the right side, and you'll notice that as a trend in here. But as you can see, Mr. Clean goes down right there. We get by him. I think he was in play with, oh, Evokes. What do you know? A lapper. So I think he was in play with Evokes there. But Evokes was down bad in this one. He forgot to join up for the heat race, so he missed the heat. He barely made it out of the LCQ. I don't even know how he did. Last lap, he was down bad. But as you can see right there, what I was saying about the whoops, if you hit that outside and then you go, you just have a better line, I think. So, but going back to Evokes, yeah, he was down bad. He barely made it in. He was last place, not last place, but he was like 5th or 6th on the last lap of the LCQ, and somehow he got into 2nd. I don't even know how, but he did. But big shout out to him. And then right here, this was a rough corner. I crashed multiple times in practice doing that corner. And if you crash in that corner, you're fucked for the whole entire thing. And watch this right here in front of me. Dude, Evokes got punted by that guy. Got punted by that guy. It was, I laughed inside my brain. I was live streaming this. I was laughing inside, but not as I was racing because I was focused. But I saw that and I was like, oh my God, Max is going to be raging after that. But as you can see, I always went back to the right side. Always went back to the right side. Was it? I think it was just easier. Like, you can see how it led my corner a little bit better, per se. So, and then we fuck up this. Like, if you fucked up this rhythm section, you're chalked. You were literally chalked. And then I got chalked here with the lappers, with LT Dan and I think Malpar, I think it was. Just, they messed up. They messed up. And LT had nowhere to go. Like, it wasn't his fault for taking me out there. He just had nowhere to go. So I can't blame him. And then I make a mistake. I make 2 mistakes and then Paboso physics. And then 4 people really, because I was out front. 4 people will go by. I'm back into 5th place. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck, right? Just like, what the fuck? I make a mistake in the rhythm section. I get taken out by Lapper. And now I just got to go all the way back up to 1st. And we tried. We tried our hardest. But we were able to put on a charge and get back by these guys. A couple of these guys make mistakes, and I think the key passing point, like even in real life, was the whoop section. I was kind of following, now that I think about it, I was kind of following Eli Tomac's line, the right side of the whoops. He was taking that to pass a lot of people. So we definitely try to like just Eli Tomac that, but you can see we got back by 2 people, and then we were right next to Sir Butter, and you can see the difference in the lines. I think just that inside you is a little bit quicker. Like, I didn't even triple out and I was still right next to Butters. You know what I mean? So I think that inside line was just a little bit quicker. But as you can see, this rhythm section right here was just, I was messing this up so bad. I kept doing that right there. I kept casing the shit, doubling out to the inside. I didn't like that line, and I don't know what I was doing differently that made me like case the shit out of it, but every single time it was. We kind of got on for the track right there, but we had to do that. That lapper went down, so I had to come up with a line. I'm not gonna lie, that line was kind of sketch, and then somehow we survived that. I don't know how. We barely survived that. I think that was Wavo. I think he was having ping problems. That's what he said in the Discord. But I just don't know how we survived that. And now we're in 2nd place, I believe now. I think we're right behind Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean at this point was kind of gone, I believe. Yeah, already a 15-second lead. He was already gone. He was putting down consistent laps. So my thought was just, let me put down consistent laps. Let me see if I can catch him. And that's my whole thought in this whole race, because this race was tricky because of the lines. You had to make sure the lines were perfect. And like you can see, I hit that line on the right side. It was just, I think, more consistent than anything. And then, does anybody else quad this right here? I'm going to be honest. I tried it once in the race. Just once. It wasn't, I don't think it was doable for me. Like, I was trying to do it, like in practice. I was trying to get it consistent. But if I wasn't getting it consistently, I wasn't going to try it. And I never got it. And I was just like, I'm chalking this. I don't want to I just don't want to go over the bars in case of shit and then ruin my whole momentum, get flustered, get frustrated. I just gave up on it. And we just went over the table, double. Maybe it'd been slower. I think the professionals, I think, what's their face? Aerials. I think aerial racers were quadding it. I think the top pros were. But I just couldn't get it consistently, and I never went for it. That's I think the only time where the whoop section actually ate me up right there. Somehow we survived it. I don't know how we survived it, but I think that was like the only time the right side ever ate me up. And it's because if you go back and you rewind, I'm on recording right here, so I can't really do that. But if I see the line again, but there's like a rut inside the right side of the whoops, a little bit where I was, and my back tire hit it, and I just went sideways. So if you kind of notice, I tried to stay more to the right side of it, so I never actually hit that rut. But it was honestly, you can't avoid it. Once you hit that rut, you're just praying to God that you don't go down. And thankfully I didn't go down. So I was happy about that. Like, you can kind of see the rut that I'm in right here. If you don't hit it perfectly and you don't stay straight, your back end's going to swap. I kind of liked more if I went to the right a little bit more. And it was just a little bit easier, I think. And then we start getting into lappers. About 5 minutes left in this race. We start getting into lappers, and I make a mistake there. And I should have never, I told myself I'm never doing that. I'm never going to go down like that. I'm never, like, if I went to the Dragon's Back, I should have just singled it. It would have been better. It would have been easier. I wouldn't have had to case the next triple, which kind of almost threw me up. But that Dragon Backs was tricky if you didn't get it correctly every single time. And maybe I should have gone to the outside later on in this video, and later on in this race, not video, but later on in the race. Maybe I should have just gone to the outside and blitzed it. But I just kept with my line because I knew I practiced that over and over and over again. You can see the rope section. I was trying to force myself more right, and it was working to a degree. But as you can see, that one time it just didn't work. And then there's the quad. I don't even know why I tried that. I honestly don't know, but it actually was pretty quick. If you just case and try to double into it, it was actually pretty quick. So, but you can see we're in second place and we're just riding our own race. This is kind of what happens when, like, the guy out front gets a good race, good start. He just like, he just dominated this race. I couldn't catch him. I thought I was catching him a little bit, but I definitely wasn't. He just kept putting seconds on me after second, and it was kind of frustrating because I wanted to do better, but I just couldn't put down that consistent lap towards the end. And you can see we're pushing, and we're pushing hard. This is the line that I like the most, this far right. You see it's a little bit cleaner, but we were pushing hard and we were trying. I thought at first we were catching them. It was at 18 at one point, and then we dropped it down to 14. But then I think I made a mistake one lap and it just pushed it way back up, and I was just like, fuck, okay, now let me just ride my race. I was still trying to push forward, but it was hard. It was hard with the lappers because you didn't want to hit them. They come into play later on, but I didn't want to hit them at all, because if you hit one lapper, then the next thing you know, you're going down again, and the next thing you know, you're going down 2 more times, you know. And that actually occurs in this race. Like, it just sucks because lappers sometimes get in the way, and it's just part of racing, but it sucks because you don't want that. And now that I'm watching back, like, they weren't that bad. There were a couple times that were bad, but what are you going to do? They're riding their own race. They're trying to race for themselves as well. And you can see I go over Zug there barely. That's an essence of, like, a lapper going down in front of you and you have nowhere to go, and you're just, like, hoping for dear life that you don't go down. But yep. And then we finally hit that section, right? Finally, after the first time ever, we actually finally hit that section correctly. But then we get this rhythm section, and then I go down right here. This is where I'm talking about, where I was casing the shit, and it was just not good. It was like a bowling pin, or it was just basically a bowling pin where I was bouncing left and right. You can see the Poboso physics. I was going crazy left and right, which sucks because now I let Zug back around me and I got to go back around him. But thankfully he was able to just, like, slow up, and I was able to get by him. But you'll see in the video that I go back and forth with Zug like he's like racing for second because I keep messing up. And this is where I'm talking about where I just keep fucking up, and I gotta be more consistent. I gotta be more consistent towards the end of the race, because if I don't, I'm gonna let people go by me, and I don't want that, right? And we were consistent throughout. Like, if you go back, we were consistent from like 8 minutes on to like 2 minutes. We were so consistent, and I just need to continue with that and try to put down even better lap times towards the end. Maybe I got to do more motos towards the end, maybe more 15-minute motos, but I don't know, because I gotta just, maybe I gotta be in more pub lobbies and play with the boys more on Supercross and get that familiarity with longer motos, because I was good for 8 minutes. I was really good for 8 minutes, and I just made too many mistakes towards this end. And some of them aren't my mistake. Some of them are like, this is my mistake. I shouldn't have triple dash. Should have just went for the double. Like that right there. That shouldn't have happened, right? I was riding good. I can't allow that right there to happen. I gotta just be, I gotta know when I'm about to like fuck up. I gotta just know. There it is again. I gotta just know when to just like give in. And if I know I'm not going to hit that right, slow up. Take the slower line so I don't crash. You know? Take the slower line. Don't crash. You're going to be fine. But me thinking, oh my God, I got to keep going. I got to keep going. People are right behind me. I got to just keep going fast as I possibly can. It fucked me up. I'm not going to lie. It fucked me up big time, because I was making too many mistakes, choking. I was choking the second place. I really was. But with 15, we're down to, I think it was the last 2 laps. I think this might be the final lap. Coming up. Nope, not the final lap. We have 2 laps after this. So this lap, 1 more lap. And it's just, we're so good. And we have lappers coming into play for this last couple laps. And it just sucks, because they did get in the way. One of them was, obviously, look at this. You have 1, 2. These guys go around. They let me by. And we were able to get by it. But this coming up, this was very, very frustrating. And it flustered me to like the most. I was able to hit this. And you can see 2 of them. And LA, he just gets in the way. We already talked about it on stream. We were streaming this, so we were able to talk about it. We already handled all that business, but he wasn't getting over, right? In my mind, I'm like, okay, my guy over here, he took my line. I can't do that. And now LA, he's in the far left. I'm thinking he's going to stay far left the whole time. He drifts over into my lane, and it just flustered the hell out of me. And it made me make this mistake where I couldn't do this rhythm section. And then it made me do this mistake where I come out of this and I just wheelie. I shouldn't have done this, right? I know I shouldn't have done that, but I got flustered, and then my bike started ghosting. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I was so upset with myself because I couldn't believe that just happened. And I'm thinking to myself, am I going to throw this away? Am I going to throw this second place away? So I just put a charge on this last lap. I'm like, I have to hit all my lines perfect. So I hit this rhythm section. I still case the shit out of that. I gotta learn from my mistake all race long. That line right there was not it. But we still keep charging. We come into the whoops. I see a Kawasaki ahead of me, and I'm just like, pray the Lord that he does not come over my lane. And thankfully he didn't. But after we hit this, we put a solid lap in. But then I case the shit out of this, and then I have to roll this. I have to go slower. And this is when I look back and I see Europe right behind me, and I'm like, oh God, I just fucked this up. I'm about to choke this away right here. And then I mess up the section right after the finish line, and I'm just like, I see him go by, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just messed this up, and I have to roll this section. And I should have just done that all night. Instead, I was like, nah, I gotta freaking full send this shit. And you can see with lappers coming into play, it gets me flustered. I mess up, and I choke a second place. I really did. I really choked a second place, and it's frustrating to me because I could have got second place. And look at Wavo's ping, my guy. What the hell is this? I thought he actually passed me. I thought he actually passed me. Like, I really thought he was in 3rd place now. And I was like, oh my God, now I got to get by this. How am I supposed to get by this? But thankfully, he wasn't. And I was able to, in between these guys, I don't really know how I was able to do that. I'm not going to lie. And then Europe was right there in second. He just did a master class on the last lap to get by me. I mean, got to give it up to him. Got to get it up to Mr. Clean as well. They rode great. and we'll get them next time. You know what I mean? We're gonna try our best. We're gonna try to do more practice throughout the week. I think we did a lot more practice throughout the week, which is awesome. And you can see it in the race. I was more consistent during the middle of the race, which I was happy for. So I'm happy with that. But at the end of the day, I wanted to win, and I wanted to win. I want to get that second place at least, but we choked it away. But yeah, we're gonna get them next week. We're gonna practice more, and we're gonna vibe out. So make sure you guys are in the streams this week. We're gonna do a little bit more Supercross, and we're gonna vibe out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. A little commentating into my brain. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys did, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, guys, much love.